E.P.E.C, the energy-producing electric car.
Hello everyone, let me introduce you our product E.P.E.C, electricity-producing electric car. Because as time passes by, the automobile that we use becomes better and better. It was January 29, 1886 when the first automobile was invented by Carl Benz. It was later on upgraded by adding electric ignition starter, coil spring suspension, car radio, stronger frame, and many more, until it was upgraded to the automobile that we are familiar of. Also, it makes it very convenient to travel long distances because it emits gases like carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane, as it needs to evaporate and combust the gasoline for the automobile to work. Because of gas emitted by the cars, the layer of greenhouse gases was thickening, causing the heat from the sun trapped inside the atmosphere. Due to that, temperature in our planet is increasing each year, causing global warming that causes on Arctic and Antarctica to melt and forest fire.
Our product is a car that, instead of using a gasoline to power up the engine, we will be using the electricity to make the motor run. This motor works like a regular DC motor, which consists of either neodymium magnet, ferrite magnet, or an electromagnet. A magnet has two types of charge, which are the positive and the negative charge. If the opposite charges were to put next to each other, of course it will attract. When two same charges were to put next to each other, then it will repel. The following clip will show us clearly on how this motor works. A motor works by connecting an electromagnet to the shaft and the magnet at the side of the electromagnet with one negative charge in one side and positive at the other. The shaft will spin by aligning the electromagnet to the magnet at the side, and when the electromagnet is aligned, it will change the direction of its charge by changing the flow of the current. Because this car uses motor that uses electricity to move, it will lessen the greenhouse gases emitted in the atmosphere, which will reduce the heat trapped inside of it, and also it will reduce the effect of global warming.
And if you're thinking that this type of car is already invented and available to the public, well, as you can see, even though this type of car does not emit greenhouse gases and is environmental friendly, it has its weaknesses. Because this type of car uses electricity to run, it needs battery to store the electricity. The average battery capacity of an electric car is 79 kilowatts, which can run for over 530 kilometers. It may seem that it can drive long ranges, but the problem lies on charging the battery. You may not know, but the average time to fully charge an electric car is about 12 hours. It is not ideal to use for long distances, as it can be panicky when you run out of charge in the middle of your charging, especially when there are no outlets for you to charge on. There might be supercharge stations that can fully charge an electric car in 80 minutes, but it is only available to one brand and it is not here in the Philippines yet. Because of this problem, we have to think of a solution that can solve that problem. It is putting wind turbines in front trunks, as there is no engine to occupy that space, and putting a solar panel at the roof of the car.
One of the said solutions is putting the wind turbines. It works by spinning the shaft of the motor. By spinning the shaft of the motor, it will generate voltage that can charge up the battery. But how exactly are you going to spin the shaft of the motor? First, you need to know what are the forces that can move things well in the car. That force is the force of the wind. But how can we make the shaft spinning using the force of the wind? We can make the shaft spin using wind force by using blades that you can see on electric fans and normal turbine. The shaft spin by using wind to push the angled blade, but a wind turbine blades are large and will not fit inside the trunks of the car. Because of that problem, we searched through the internet, searching for a compact design. We have came through a turbine that is designed using the golden ratio, resulting in a spiral blade. But that design won't be enough, as it will be too long to fit into the trunk, so we have thought that we should merge the spiral blade and the motor together, resulting in an elongated motor at the middle of the blade. We putted modified long bearings at the middle of the frame of the motor and the blade to reduce friction and avoid overheating due to the friction. Now that the design of the wind turbine is solved, what about the case of if the wind speed is too much for the wind turbine to handle? We solved that by putting metal mesh to reduce the overall wind speed. Metal blinders that automatically adjust to the wind speed and petite static tube used in jets, remote controlled jets to measure its speed using air pressure to measure the wind speed.
We also put solar panel roof so that when the car is moving or parked under the sun, it will generate electricity to charge up the battery of the car. Solar panel works by filtering the sunlight and absorbing the photons in the sunlight using photovoltaic cells or solar cells. We run the wiring to the top side of the car frame above the door frame so that the window will not be obstructed. We estimated that a car can produce electricity for about 37 kilowatts in 9 hours of continuous drive of a normal electric car traveling for about 53 km per hour with a 17 kilowatts battery capacity. 10 kilowatts for the solar panel with 5 hours of sunlight, and 27 kilowatts for the wind turbine producing 3 kilowatts. And to avoid overheating the battery while it's charged, we put a system that only allows the battery to charge when it has used 20% of a battery, so that there will be free cells to charge that is not powering the car. We estimated that it can generate 41.09 kilowatts in a continuous drive until the battery is empty. It will increase the distance traveled for about 52%, assuming that the car is running 53 km per hour and using 7.9 kilowatts of the battery every hour. It will travel the distance of 805.6 km using the full charge battery and the electricity produced by the wind turbine and solar panel.
E.P.E.C, the energy producing electric car.